Good morning, everybody, and a happy Thursday morning to you. There is so much in here. We have Charles and Camilla's first full day in Rome. We have Harry's first full day in court. We have Meghan Markle's first podcast. There's a lot. Let's jump in and cover, shall we? Let's go. So it's our first full day in Italy, and the Italian president, Sergio Mattarella, met with King Charles at the Quirinale Presidential Palace. The first thing that they did was inspect a guard of honor. President Mattarella will be hosting a state banquet for Charles and Camilla at the palace on Wednesday evening, which, by the way, in case you forgot, also marks Charles and Camilla's 20th wedding anniversary. Charles, I have to say, I agree with him. I think these trips are the perfect tonic. He's looking really spry. Look how happy he is. And while they were outside, they also met the president's daughter named Laura, who helped escort them into the palace. Now, before they actually got inside, when they were in another area outside, the Frecce Tricolori and the Red Arrows aerobatic units performed a beautiful flyover, spewing the colors for Charles and Camilla. They were then walked upstairs. I have to tell you, though, what a sight. Isn't that just beautiful? Anyway, first they went into the palace. Look how gorgeous. And they took the, obligatory photos. Before then, they were taken up the stairs. Now, after they got up the stairs, the king was appointed a Knight Grand Cross with collar of the Order of Merit of the Italian Republic. And the president also was given an honor by Charles. He was made an honorary Knight Grand Cross of the Most Honorable Order of the Bath. The Queen was given the Order of the Dame Grand Cross of the Order of Merit of the Republic of Italy, to which she said she was honored and humbled. And I love this picture of them holding hands behind the back. Then, of course, you have the usual sitting and talking. I'm assuming this gentleman is a widow because his wife was never there, just his daughter. So maybe I'm assuming incorrectly. But of course, then they all stood around for the official photos. And then it was time for Charles and Camilla to leave because they were on to the next thing that they had to do. This was a very busy day for them. So Charles and Camilla then headed to the altar of the fatherland, where they were greeted by Italian Defense Minister Guido Crosetto. Now, the altar of the fatherland is the national monument built between 1885 and 1935 to honor Victor Emmanuel, the first king of the unified Italy. Now, right there also is the tomb of the unknown soldier located in the Piazza Venezia, where Charles and Camilla then laid a wreath. With that, I'm going to give Camilla some props because let me tell you something. That is a lot of steps to go up and down. I do love the fact she's hanging on to Charles because my goodness, but yeah, a lot of steps. Good for her. All right. Then they were on to the next visit of the day. And that was at the Colosseum. And the crowds were amazing. 50 back. People were screaming and yelling. I wish I could play you those videos, but due to copyright, I'm not allowed to. But my goodness, the cheering, the yelling. There was a group of school children there. And after they met them, Charles turned around and said, I wonder if they're skipping school. He's so funny. And then, of course, they went over to the Colosseum where they then took a tour of it. It is a beautiful monument. I myself toured it. It's beautiful. I have to tell you, I don't think I've seen Charles and Camilla look quite so happy as they do as they're standing here together taking their pictures. You can tell that they definitely are a love match and, this marriage is going well. That's very obvious. I mean, just look at that. It's just gorgeous. So the trip so far seems to be going well. Now, that night, because believe it or not, they were not done yet. There was a reception in the evening where Charles was joking about getting older and said that they enjoyed any excuse to be in Italy. It was a British-Italian community reception that took place where they met people from business, industry, some recipients of honors. There were UN diplomats, representatives from arts and culture. Military was there, defense was there, education was there. It was huge. reception, and it took place at the British ambassador's residence, which the government bought in 1951. Ambassador Lord Llewellyn and his wife Anne were there, and they hosted them for the evening. The reception started with the playing of the national anthem while they were on the balcony, which you just saw, and then of course they went down into the garden where they joined the guests. The king, by the way, was also introduced, it was reported, to some of the embassy staff who have been working on the royal visit. This villa where the reception took place also happens to be where Charles and Camilla are staying while they're in Rome. That, my friends, was the end of the first day of the visit. King Charles just looks like he's enjoying himself way too much, and I will keep on for the next day. But now we have other things to cover, so let's jump in and get there. Really quickly, in case you're unaware, Samantha Markle, remember she has appealed the court's decision to allow her to sue Meghan Markle. A judge in Atlanta, Georgia, set the date for Samantha to go to court as August 11th. Obviously, when that rolls around, I'll cover it for you guys as we go. All right, let's move on now to Harry and his case in the UK for police protection. I have to tell you, I agree with the attorney. Harry is the author of his own misfortune. He's the one who wrote about Al-Qaeda, saying that killing people was like knocking pieces off a chessboard. And this points out once again that despair was the biggest mistake Harry made. This attorney said and pointed out that Harry has not lost all of his state-funded security. It's simply a case-by-case basis. As I've told you before, he's given multiple excuses why he can't bring his family back. Oh, they're not safe, they're not secure. The truth is nobody wants to see him. His father has cancer, okay? If he wanted his father to see the children, he would bring the children. He has given, multiple excuses. I've been treated differently. I've been singled out. He's a typical narcissist, just like his wife, who takes no accountability for any of his behavior. The problem with telling lies is they come back to bite you. Don't forget that in 2020, Harry and Meghan said that they made the choice to transition into a new role and that they were going to step back and carve out a new progressive place in the monarchy. Now, of course, for court, the narrative has changed. Now it's, we felt forced to step back from the role of full-time official working members because we were not being protected by the institution. Really? How about your freedom flight? You've made it sound like you were escaping a concentration camp on a private jet, no less, given to you by some star that you gave some sob story to. Remember, you guys, Harry launched this legal challenge in 2021. He lost a specific legal challenge in 2023, and then a high court dismissed his case in February of 2024. He was, given permission to appeal 3 months later, but only on legal points concerning whether Ravik had violated its own policy. I think we already know this is the two-day hearing is going to conclude on Wednesday, and they may announce their ruling on the same day, or they may reserve judgment, meaning they will privately deliberate. I gotta be honest, I think he's gonna lose, and after he loses, the government should make Harry reimburse them for all the money that they've had to lay out defending themselves. He should pay the taxpayers back, because that was taxpayer money. All right, let's move on. Now, in the meantime, while Harry was in the UK, there was a friend's wedding. Lord Vivian wed Sawida Kamara at the Chelsea Old Town Hall in London on Saturday. It was confirmed that he was invited, but he's claiming that he couldn't attend because security wasn't provided for Harry's visit to the UK, which makes attending events or moving around the country very challenging. Interestingly enough, when the groom was asked why Harry didn't go in, he says, I don't know. He has a lot on him. Harry could have shown up to that wedding. I'm so sick of hearing the security excuse, really. All he had to do was show up, but he couldn't even manage that. All right, next up, we know that his name was Graham Cracker. He apparently was a bodyguard of Princess Diana, and it's being reported that William and Charles don't want Harry at the funeral when he has his funeral because he'll overshadow the occasion. I don't know how honest this is. I don't know if this is true. They're claiming it was communicated to Harry his presence at the send-off will detract from the occasion. The man died on the 7th. I don't know when the funeral is. Charles is out of the country right now. I mean, could it be true? It could be. Would Harry detract from the occasion? Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, let's move on. Here we go. Meghan's podcast came out, and it was exactly what I said it was going to be. She talked all about herself, and is anybody surprised that Catherine had cancer and suddenly Meghan claims she had preeclampsia? The same condition, by the way, that her guest had. But yet, we never heard anything about this on the Oprah show, in the Cut interview, in the Vanity Fair interview, in the Spare, on Archetypes. We never heard anything about it. And that's because, in my opinion, personally, I don't believe she had it. I think this is another, Catherine had it, so I need to have it. In case you guys haven't noticed, in every podcast, whether it be this one or Archetypes, every story circles back to her where she talks about herself. This is another love meme. That's what this is. Remember, when Meghan started talking about her podcast, she said she wanted it to be an environment of thanks and gratitude. This podcast is supposed to get female entrepreneurs to give the secrets of their success, but that's not actually what happens. Meghan's first guest is a woman by the name of Whitney Wolfe Herd. She's the co-founder of the dating app Bumble on the internet. So Harry and Meghan's stuff about internet safety, this is the woman that helped create Tinder. So Meghan says about this woman, you're the, quote, kind of friend who always seems to know exactly what to say, which I'm guessing is why she was invited on the podcast in the first place. She was part of the team that created Tinder before she did Bumble, so you would think she would have a lot of information to impart, but nope, she doesn't give any. Do you guys remember when the Netflix show came out? I said it was going to be like, hi Barbie, you're the best. No, you're the best. Well, you get that at the very beginning. Oh my gosh, you're the best. I'm proud of you. Thank you. It's actually what is going on during this podcast. This woman at the beginning of the podcast described Harry and Meghan as elegant, iconic, and classy. So Meghan does what she usually does, and she makes a lot of comments that are not relatable to the general public. The podcast is 49 minutes long, and for the first 7 minutes, it's all about Meghan talking about herself, and then her and this woman talking about how they met. It's rather boring. Then, of course, this woman says to Meghan, I can't believe the way you've been treated in the media. It's victimizing. It's brutalizing. I just can't imagine. And by the way, there's a commercial at the beginning, and there's a commercial in the middle to buy some sweatshirts. So she's even merching during her podcast. Meghan then moves on to self-love and being in a relationship that's healthy, etc., etc. None of this has anything to do with founding of a company. By the way, and it didn't surprise me either, Meghan used all of her buzzwords: authentic, joy. She, of course, mentioned Archie and Lily. We knew that was going to come out. Meghan also talked about when you have a team, a small team or a large team, you have to have boundaries. You're protecting your own energy. You're protecting your relationship with the team. Her being the dictator duchess and the dictator in heels, we know why she's making those statements. Then towards, the middle of the podcast, we both had preeclampsia. It's so rare. It's so scary. And the world doesn't know what's happening behind the scenes. I have to be honest, at this point, I think this woman took a swipe at the royal family, this Whitney woman, because she goes, I'll never forget when the world was waiting to see Archie. And she says, and I was either a new mom or I was about to become a new mom. And I remember seeing you standing there in heels and I thought, my God, how is she doing this? And you were debuting this beautiful child and I could barely face a doorbell delivery. I wonder who she was talking about. I mean, it doesn't take a genius. We know that Meghan was asked to take the picture. She refused to take the picture outside the hospital. And I'm not going to cover all the reasons why. We know why. I think Meghan will say anything and do anything that she thinks will bring her press. Now, one other thing happened that just absolutely shocked me. Meghan put up this picture from when she was a Girl Scout, and she said, being an entrepreneur can start young. By the way, all these years later, I'm still selling cookies. This is just like the school project. It was a class project, but she claimed it was hers. She was a Girl Scout. Every girl in the United States did this, including me. You run around selling cookies. That doesn't make you an entrepreneur. That means that you worked for the Girl Scouts selling cookies. But leave it to Meghan to turn the narrative into, look, I was an entrepreneur. Look, I was selling stuff to make money all those years ago. I'm telling you, this woman is deluded. Now, just as an FYI, they're saying that this did hit into the top 10. But remember, archetypes also hit into the top 10, and then the ratings started to fall off because people realized it was a nothing burger. And I think the same exact thing is going to happen here. Oh my goodness, I really want your comments. What do you guys think about all of this? Put them down, make them good. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Amazon wish list, a link to my father's book, which is up for sale on Amazon, a link to my second channel where I've got all my fabulous recipes, as well as a physical address. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.